You can't just, everything's not a conspiracy.
9/11, right? I mean, do you think that was a conspiracy? Or, I mean, you buy the cover story?
No, there was something weird about that. I agree.
Well, yeah. I mean, all you have to do is just look at the video. Towers coming down perfect, like a demolition charges went off.
Like I get it. 9/11's like an inside job. I get it, and JFK. But I mean, you can't trust every conspiracy. I mean, you think the world's flat?
How far down the rabbit hole do you want to go? Okay, hey, you don't believe me? Hey, check this out. Yeah, just as I thought. Look at this crap.
What are you doing?
Look at this. GMO food is healthy. Dinosaurs, living proof God screwed up. Gay power. Gay is better. Look at this. Abraham Lincoln was a Democrat. Native Americans had to die fast. Help kids love pharma like candy. Look at this crap. This is propaganda. Hate, truth, love, lies. This is classic Saul Alinsky. There's always the same books in here. Teen Guide to Becoming a Whore. Dog That Only Christians Growled At. Easy to read, right? So it's this group that just does a correction history series. I always find them in the same places. And it's always the same subjects, usually the same books.
This is insane. This is total propaganda. This is not just some mistake. I mean,
oh no, yeah, no, not at all. I mean, there's obviously a group set out there. I don't know who they are, who they're funded by, but they've been working, for a long time. I've been finding them as long as the book boxes have been up. It's a faster way to get the kids to get these books instead of having to go to the library, which was the original way. Now they don't even need to have a library card. They could just get them for free, when they're strategically planted, in all mass suburbia.
I can't believe what the letter S is. Maybe we should call.
I'm not big on cell phones, I don't want to be some robot always holding one. Anyways, I left mine this morning.
Well, I have a phone. It's wrapped in tinfoil in your car.
Wait, I think I heard something.
I just saw some dude nude running across from the kitchen.
Thank you.
Don't you need to get him to sign that?
Yeah. You need to sign.
I'm sorry, I was exercising.
Yeah. Try working the other arm sometime.
You shouldn't have called the guy out and embarrassed the guy, man.
Oh, well, I call him like I see him. The whole world's just filled with jerk-offs now, It's, if they're not on their computer, it's playing video games or watching TV or, going to school. It's just all bull.
You think education's a waste of time?
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it. You spend $80,000, $120,000 I hear nowadays is, to go and get basically a piece of paper, not to mention the cost of the books. It's just.
No, you're right. It is kind of goofy. People don't utilize their college degree.
Yeah, it's just a waste of time, Anyway, speaking of waste of time, I need to get an oil change.
You gave up anything that once held you back, like running through the mud.
What are we doing here?
I'm gonna get an oil change.
While we're on work?
Well, yeah. When you go to a museum and look at art, is that real or fake?
I've heard they're fake because they're too expensive to display.
Exactly.
So you're saying all fossils are fake?
Of course they are.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
You look like you have something you want to say.
Yeah, actually, I have first-hand experience with everything you guys are talking about. My brother worked at an excavation site over the summer, and this old archaeologist guy told him the same thing, something about Burnham and Bailey. But essentially, everything was fake. All the fossils and everything were fraud.
But how's that possible? There would have to be so many people involved to cover it up.
Yeah, actually, the number of gatekeepers is very small. Not very many people know about it. Only a few people have actually touched the original specimens.
I bet any serious, reputable journal wouldn't even publish anything your brother was talking about.
The journals are all in cahoots, if you will. That's what his archaeologist buddy told him. Any dissent against the dinosaur narrative is not published. Think about it. In college, they don't ever ask you to think outside of the box. All they ask you to do is memorize everything that they tell you and just regurgitate it back to them. What really surprised me is how my brother told me that they would find just a fragment of a bone and say it was a tooth, and they would just assume that it was part of this bigger whole of a dinosaur and just make up this 30-foot dinosaur out of thin air. My brother never saw the real specimens. He only saw copies. He only worked with copies. There was rumored to be 100 or so models that they were going to try and present to the public and make believable, but only about 30 of them were accepted, and they casted about 60 of them and mailed them off to all universities and museums. My brother told me that you have to have a fossil hunting license to even be taken seriously when hunting out bones. No complete dinosaur has ever been found. Google that. My brother even tried to educate the community by making a blog and YouTubing all of the things that he learned about, but most of it was taken off for copyright infringement.
Yeah, the truth is there. We just need to spread it from person to person. Truth is like a virus.
Yeah, that girl seemed to know what she was talking about.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not the only one. Do you even know what a conspiracy is?
A conspiracy is where people just make up something because they can't handle the truth or the real facts.
There's a difference between a conspiracy and conspiracy theory. Everything's been turned into a conspiracy theory nowadays. A conspiracy is when two or more people act to try to achieve a criminal end. There's no theory about it. It's not a proven thing if it's a theory. Kennedy, that's a conspiracy. Conspiracy theory might be something as ridiculous as Elvis is still alive and there's people helping him. But these things that are conspiracies are proven fact. John F. Kennedy, it's proven fact that people conspired to kill that man for what he was trying to do. All right, for example, check this out. Right here. Earth Summit Agenda 21, right here. This is the United Nations program for running the world.
Promote utilization.
Look at it. It's a manual for controlling the Earth. It's even got the flat Earth symbol on it. It's making people into commodities.
Develop basic science research and such plant technology. Oh, wow, this is crazy. This is like some kind of like guidebook to like herding up the animals, like the people, humans, like sheep or animals, to the slaughter. Promote more efficient and sustainable use of forests and trees. Wow, this is a real book. I can't believe this.
Yeah, as if forests and trees are commodities, just for human use. It's an agenda written by the elite, the individuals of the United Nations, to control the population, make them into a viable commodity. How much can you get out of these people? It's the idea of destroying individualism. It's mass socialism. It's international socialism instead of Hitler's national socialism. Why is it that you can talk about Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, fossil theory, all these other ones, and as soon as you bring up flat Earth, the concept of the world isn't round, then people get irate about it. All the other ones are free game, but this one's off limits for some reason. It doesn't make any sense. It's like the 600-pound gorilla nobody wants to mention in the room.
Well, I think it's just so absurd that we live on a flat Earth. I mean, it's like already been proven. It's like we were taught that in 3rd grade. I mean, I get it. If we do live on a flat Earth, and you're right about the moon landings being fake, and them lying to us, and we're not spending 1,000 miles an hour, and nobody's talking about it, I do get that. That would be really weird. But I think it's so asininely stupid and ridiculous that people don't talk about it. You sound like an idiot. I mean, no one's going to take you serious. You start talking about flat Earth concepts, you're going to lose all credibility. I mean, the JFK thing, we probably wasn't the guy with the rusty rifle, but it's just sad. Just sad. There, little fella. I'm being kind of condescending to you because you're kind of pathetic right now. And the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour, and we did come from monkeys, and dinosaurs walked the planet, and the Earth is 4.7 billion years old, and the universe is 13.7 billion years old. Okay, so I'm going to deliver this food and get my $2 tip, hopefully.
Back to the farm shelter we played in when we were kids.
6 years of my life I tested that. 6 years.
So let me show you something. You know when you were busy buying that monkey at the garage sale? Here, I got this. Can you tell me what that is?
What's this?
Stonehenge.
It doesn't look like it. It looks like some ripoff.
No, it's the actual Stonehenge before they cleaned it up and doctored it. It's
What?
Yeah. They have history revisionists and all these people. They go around it. It's a perfect example of history and things not being what they seem.
Printed and published by something Precision Limited, St. Albans. Yeah, it looks legit.
And it's like that with almost everything in history. Yeah, it's all manipulated. You're living in a plastic reality. It's all an illusion. It's all dream, art, fantasy. So you heard what was said at the oil change place, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, this carbon testing and all that stuff, it's not so cut and dry as they make it out to be. It's the same thing with history or the Stonehenge. There's revisions. History is written by the winners, and there are no objective truths. Everything's pretty much just subjective. If you ask somebody about a certain event, let's say your 19th birthday, right? Everybody's going to have a different story about what actually happened and, what their own view of what went down was. Because everybody has a different perception.
Man, you really should clean up your car, dude. This is a joke.
All right.
Look at this. Is it possible that we can switch to my van and I'll drive and you can teach me how to deliver?
Sure.
Because this is a joke.
Yeah, whatever you want. Say you have a big war, say World War II, for example. You only understand World War II from the American and British perspective. You'd never be able to get the Germans or Japanese perspective because they were the losers. They didn't get their voice heard. There's two sides to every story, but unfortunately, most of the time you only hear one side. History's pretty much biased. So we're not getting the whole story on 9/11. I'm pretty sure you know that. So why would you think that all other things are legitimate? Why would you think we're getting all the information on everything else?
I totally get what you're saying about the 9/11 being something fishy, but how am I supposed to buy the whole story with the Earth being flat? I mean, that just sounds like a pretty far-fetched. Like there was hundreds of thousand people involved in the moon landings. I mean, how could you fake everybody out?
See, that's the thing. Not everybody who's involved knows that they're involved. It's like the guy who makes the bolts on the rocket in NASA, right? He doesn't know anything about rocket propulsion systems. He just makes the bolts. He's just a cog in the machine. And that's the way most people operate. They're just cogs in a machine. They're pawns in a chess game. They don't really see the big picture. They're just focused on their little task at hand. They do that, and so they can go home and watch TV or drink a beer.
No, yeah, I get it that one guy writes a book and then another guy writes a book and one journal is controlled by a certain school. I get all that, but I just think that you're just connecting too many dots. I don't think you can control all of it. Too many people would have to be involved to make it all work. So it's just,
Well, it's like Coolidge said, the business of America is business. You got to keep things going no matter what. Doesn't matter if it's all a lie, which it is. You got to keep it running, or else the whole machine will fall apart. And then how are these people going to make all this money then? How are they going to, afford these giant houses and to make, 10 times what they need?
but why would people take all the time to lie about the planet being flat? They could just say that it's flat and not have to cover up that huge lie. I mean, why would they lie about that?
Well, for their own nefarious purposes.
Why would they want to fake that the Earth's flat? Like, why would you want to say it's a round ball spinning? What is that going to prove or help? I mean, it's a lot of effort to do something for what?
They killed God and put him on the money. He's the new God.
So you think that they said that the Earth's flat so that we then get distracted and don't believe in God? How does that correlate? That sounds crazy. What would it matter if the Earth was flat or a ball Earth? That's going to somehow disprove God?
Because there is a dome over the earth protecting us. It's God's hand watching us.
Somehow if there's a dome over the earth and that God's protecting us, and that takes away from Satan?
Talking about books, why don't you put your science books away and, bring out the Bible? It's not been changed in the last 2,000 years.
I don't know.
The condensation idea is in the Bible as thousands of years before it had even been investigated by science.
So I totally get what you're saying about science books being like doctored, but the Bible, nobody's reading the Bible.
So you really think there's this whole good versus evil thing going on, huh? Well, evil's winning. Now let me show you something. Here at this little library they have. Pretty creepy, eh?